that is, we'll be talking about the professional community service and the architecture profession in general, and an important topic, which is ethics. And ethics is something that is required in our daily life, and it's more required in our professional life. And we'll see how to do that. So the Architect. This is a famous movie. It's called The Fountainhead. I recommend that you look for it and watch it. It's by Gary Cooper. It's a very famous novel by Ayn Rand about the struggle of the architect in the work, in working with clients and with contractors when architect tries to present new ideas. This was an architect during the early modern architecture, the ideas of modernism to replace the classical styles used at that time. It's a very interesting novel if you want to read the novel, but it's very big. And I think if you watch the movie, you will identify with the architect and his struggle to present ideas to clients and the society. So if we think for a while, is architecture a profession or a business? Architecture is actually both. It is a profession and it is a business. If you want to always work for someone, then you are a profession. But if you want to start your own office and your own firm, then you need to understand the business qualities of architecture. How to create an image, how to introduce yourself, how to promote your specialty and skills in a certain field. As I said, a man of all trade is a man of no trade. You have to focus on a specific area or specific building type or specific activity so that you are known. This person is known to do this. So this is something that you can start with, and then later on you can expand your business by having other specialists in different fields. But don't try to do everything. Try to focus and specialize in something. We are going into the era of specialization in architecture. You cannot just be architect. No, you have to be architect / something. So what is the difference between business and profession? A business is interested in earning profit. Some people who do business do not have any qualifications. You have to have an establishment where you have entrepreneurial decision and fulfillment of legal formalities. You have to start your business with a lot of paperwork and formalities. The code of conduct, it's not specified, but it is embedded. Advertisement, you can advertise your products and services. And the reward that you get is you get profit, and the risk factor is always there is a risk in the business. Transfer of interest is possible. You transfer the business to another person. A capital is required depending on the size and nature of the business. For the profession, as a professional architect, you are your goal is to render service, to provide service for others. Specialized knowledge is required. You need to have special knowledge and degrees to provide professional service. You have to be a member of a professional society and to have a certificate of practice. You have to follow a code of conduct by provided by the professional organization to follow. You cannot advertise yourself as they do in business. Yani, you advertise yourself through publications, through public lectures, through community participation, but you cannot just make flyers and give them to everyone about yourself and your work. This is not allowed. What you get for your professional services, you get fees. You don't get profit, or you don't get money unless you provide services. So we get architectural fees or professional fees. Risk, there is risk, of course, but not always. And not like the business field. Transfer of interest is not possible because the work is tied to a person unless you institutionalize your office or firm. The capital is limited based on what size you want to start with, unlike the business. So architecture is both. You can look at it as business, you can look at it as a profession. It involves both activities at the same time. So a professional practice is the customary performance of professional activities. So you as an architect is providing service to clients and owners and society. Before the 19th century, the architect was not recognized as a profession independent from other professions. But since the 19th century, it started to be recognized as an independent profession. Before that, you can be a physician and architect, you can be a writer and architect, you can be other things. But since in the 19th century, it started to be formalized as an architectural profession with syndicates, with associations, and so forth. In the 20th century, it started to have more recognition, and the profession developed and matured a lot. So the architect actually was a trade that used to be since the Greek time. And the architect was called a master builder. So he used to do everything in the building. He used to supervise and follow the work for everything in the building. As we said before, buildings were simple. They didn't have complicated technical things. So they need the architect was the master of everything. He designs, he supervises the work, and he builds himself by his hands some parts. So the origin of the word architect is architekton in Greek, which is the chief builder or the master builder. And in Arabic, of course, we have the architect. Mi'mari is coming from the word ammara or imara. Bardo, the architect, was called al-banna, the one who builds and constructs. طبعا one of the few famous images of architects in our history is architect Sinan of Turkey. طبعا architecture started with ancient architecture of Greek and Egyptian architecture of pyramids and temples. So usually the focus was on the public building and institutional buildings. The housing and residential and living areas were done by the vernacular architect, or the person, the local builder who gets information from the owner and builds what they want. The first book written about architecture was written by Vitruvius in the year 25 BC. And the emperor at that time asked him to write something about architecture to understand what it is. So he went and came back with 10 books on architecture. And these 10 books were not translated until the Age of Enlightenment in the 18th century, when they started to be translated to English and became the base of the architecture profession. And he is known in the field of architecture as the first writer, the first theoretician about architecture. So he wrote the 10 books on architecture. Each book covers certain elements. The first one is the architect training and aims, materials, orders, civic structures. So it was a comprehensive cover of architecture for the emperor. Vitruvius identified 3 important things that architecture must have. If it doesn't have them, it's not architecture. It can be a building, but not architecture. The 3 things were utilitas, firmitas, and venustas. Firmitas, utilitas, which we can call the commodity or the function or the requirements of the building. So the building must have utility, it must be used. Second thing is firmitas or firmness, or the structure and technology. So the building must not fall on the head of the people. So it has to be firm and rigid. Venustas is, Venus of course is the goddess of beauty in the Greek time. So the building must be beautiful or delighted or aesthetically appealing. So these were the 3 things that Vitruvius identified that architecture must have. If you are missing one of them, it's not architecture, it's building only. So Vitruvius indicated that utilitas, firmitas, and venustas, or it was translated to commodities, firmness, and delight, or we can call it functional, technical, and aesthetic, utility, structure, attractive, use, construction, appearance. You can think about it in different ways, but it's to have architecture, you have to have 3 things: utilitas, firmitas, and venustas. So this actually, the translation of his work actually revolutionized the profession of architecture. In the beginning, the architect was in the service of the church, and then he became in the service of the elite and powerful people. And then during the Renaissance, the division between design and construction started to appear. So we started to have a designer and a contractor. So the architect became not doing everything. No, the architect became a designer of the project, and then there is a contractor. This happened during the Renaissance, when the division of labor started to happen, and we started to have 2 entities: architect designing, contractor building. So the architect, the main responsibility of the architect is design. When we talk about design, we talk about a larger scope, not only drawing. Design is thinking, is analysis, is drawing, is integration of systems, is production of construction documents. These are, the design never stops. It starts from the selection of the site and program all the way until the end of construction. During construction, you continue design. Sometimes you are required to change things, sometimes you are required to design details for specific areas and so forth. In the 16th century, we started to have the term profession. Started with law, medicine, clergy, military, And second, after that, we started to see a profession for architecture, dentistry, civil engineering, accounting, and so forth. So our profession started late, not with the early professions. The first school of architecture was in Paris in the École des Beaux-Arts, and it had the tradition of the studio master, the project learning, the sketch design and submissions. It was called skis, and it has to be submitted at certain time using a cart. So the cart goes around the studios and collect the drawings. If you don't submit, that's it. You get zero. So the school of the Beaux-Arts affected all other schools after that when it moved to other places in Europe and the US. So the transformation from a practice into a profession is important. You don't only practice architecture, you are also a professional in that field. So you have to control the way which design services were being provided. There must be a system, a method, procedures. The large scale of public works projects started to happen, and there was a need to assurance that the architect had the necessary expertise and skills to handle the work. Projects started to be more complicated and more larger in size. So how do we make sure that the professional architect can provide the service needed? The first thing is education. So you have to get education from a reputable school, a recognized school, not with anyone, and it has to be approved as a degree. Then you need to get a license. The license required training and examination. This is the general scope that is applied, and it's not applied completely in every place, but this is the general scope of becoming a professional. To be a professional, you have to adhere to the ethics of this profession. And this is extremely important when you go to the work environment. Ethics is number one. So to join a professional society means subscribing to that society's ethical standards. What do we mean by ethical standards? You have rights to belong to the society, and you have obligations to meet the accepted standards of professional behavior. The first code of ethics was done by Hammurabi in the 1800 BC. And it stated that if a builder builds a house for someone and doesn't construct it properly, and the house which built fall and killed its owner, then the builder shall be put to death. So it was so harsh to assure that the builder makes his work proper. Nowadays, we look at it in a different way. The architect must be honest and have integrity to protect the public welfare and safety. This is our main goal, to protect the public welfare and safety. So when you perform your services, you have to make sure that people are the first thing in your mind. Workers, employees, passers-by, society. The public welfare is number one. So you should do your design to protect life, health, welfare, and professional standards. So this is extremely important in our professional practice. Your judgment should not result in endangering life and the welfare and property of the public. If there is something wrong, you have to notify your employer or client or the person that has authority. So don't find something wrong and not tell about. You have to be objective and truthful in your professional reports, statements, testimonies, and provide all pertinent supporting information related to the work you are assigned. So honesty is extremely important. You should not express opinion unless you have knowledge and facts. If you don't have knowledge and facts, say, I don't know. I don't have enough information. This is an ethical conduct. You should not get any motivations or briberies or be getting paid to change your professional opinion or judgment. يعني whether this is يعني covered small or big. This is just a nice lunch from McDonald's. No, it's a bribery. Or this is just a small car. It's bribery. Or this is just a small amount of money. It is bribery. It's, you know that this is not right. So you should not accept any of this at any time. You should not associate yourself with any dishonest, fraudulent, or illegal business practices. Your ethical conduct, first and of all, is to the public welfare. Our other level of ethics is towards our client or employer. You have to have ethical conduct when you deal with any client or employer. Don't take any work or assignment unless you are qualified to do it. So, this is after you graduate. Now you are a trainer. If you don't feel that you are comfortable with an assignment, you don't have enough knowledge, tell that, and so that you get more time or more information to help you achieve. Don't sign when you graduate. Your signature is responsibility and money. So don't sign or seal anything that is not prepared under your supervision and control. It's very critical and very important. You can coordinate the work, but you sign and seal only the part that is done under your supervision. You don't, when you work for someone, any information you know from the work environment, this is not your own. This is secret information, private information of the office. Now you are going to work for or train in some offices. You might be exposed to documents or information. You should not share the information with outsiders that might hurt the firm or company. No briberies are allowed for any reason. Not at all. So and this is a very critical part. Don't disclose your employer or client conflict of interest. There is a fight inside the office. There is a conflict between people. You should not talk about it. It's not your business. You have to keep the secrets of the office or firm intact. You should not accept financial or other compensation from the contractor and the owner and the supplier and the subcontractor. No, you get your fees only from the owner or the client of the work. So this might get you, you need to accept professional contract from governmental body in which you have a partner working there. This is also unethical. if you are a principal or employee in a company, you should not get you should not assign work to your office or firm. This is unethical. Ethics is clear, and there is no doubt about it. But the problem is applying it. The last level is that you have to be honest and goodwill among engineers. So different architect has honesty and has ethics in their conduct. So don't misrepresent your qualifications. Don't don't misrepresent your level of responsibility. This is also again, no bribery or conflict of interest. Don't take any gifts, any commissions, anything outside your fees from the client. This is unethical. Don't make any decisions that might injure or hurt other people. But these ethics are written in documents by the different professional institutions like the AIA and the UIA that are applied in different parts of the world. So with that, we will finish our lecture, and inshallah we'll be in contact with each other all the during the rest of the weeks, and